sorry about that. I only have 5 minutes on each video that I can make, and I didn't realize that I was running out of time, so it just kind of stopped mid-sentence. But if I'm continuing where we left off, okay, I rewrote the equation that's up here, y equals 4x minus 3, which is this line, remember. But if I'm going to write a new equation, okay, its slope, right, it's still going to start out with y equals, but its slope is going to be the opposite, which means it's going to have negative, and then I have to do the reciprocal of it, which that's a term you guys have learned in the past. Okay, maybe we haven't used it for a while, but reciprocal just means you flip whatever it is, the fraction. So 4, remember, is the same thing as 4 over 1. So if I flipped that, its reciprocal would be 1 over 4, and I still have x with it. And then I'm going to have a new y-intercept. Okay, so I'm going to go plus b2 because I technically don't know the y-intercept yet. Okay, but I do know one other piece of information. Okay, they told me a point right here that this equation is going to go through. It's going to go through the point negative 1, 2. It's going to go through the point negative 1, 2, which is right here. Okay, so if I picture it, all right, my answer when I find my y-intercept should be roughly somewhere through here because my line is going to like follow, it's going to be perpendicular to it, so it's going to be like sort of look like that. So it looks like it should probably be somewhere between 1 and 2 when I get my final answer. Okay, but I can just take the coordinates of this point and plug them into my new equation that I'm writing. Remember, negative 1 is the x coordinate and 2 is the y coordinate. So I'm going to plug in 2 for y. Okay, 2. I don't know why that switched to red again. I picked purple. There we go. So ignore that. I have 2 equals negative 1/4. And now x is negative 1, remember. So I'm going to go times negative 1 and then plus b2. And now I have to solve for b2. All right, so I'm going to multiply those two. Negative 1/4 times negative 1. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive, and 1 times anything is itself. So this is just going to be 2 equals, that becomes now a positive 1/4 plus b2. Okay, and then I have to subtract. So I'm going to rewrite this over here so I have room. I don't think I can go down any farther. If I have 2 equals 1/4 plus b2, I would just subtract 1/4 from both sides. And 2 minus 1/4 is 1 and 3/4, which is equal to b2. Okay, so now I'm going to erase some of the stuff that I have up here so I can create some room. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to erase some of this stuff. Okay. And now write my equation. Okay, so again, my slope, which is just the opposite reciprocal, is y equals, we figured out that was negative 1/4 x, and now we figured out my y-intercept is 1 and 3/4, so I'm just going to go plus 1 and 3/4. So if I'm going to graph this on here, okay, I'm going to get rid of that little dot right there. Okay, so I can match the color. I'm going to have a point at 1 and 3/4. That's my y-intercept, so that's roughly right there. It's going to go through the point negative 1, 2. Okay, and then remember, my slope is negative 1/4, so I would rise negative 1, and I will run 4, which is going to be a point right there. I'm going to rise negative 1, which means goes down 1, and run 4. I'm going to go down 1 and run 4.